Hey there, coin hunters and accidental treasure owners. Imagine this. You're at the gas station. You pay for a pack of gum with $2. The cashier hands you back some change. You walk out, not thinking twice, and in your hand is a penny. Just one little cent. Now, what if I told you that penny, if it just happens to be the right one, is worth over $1 million, $1.1 million for a 2017 D Lincoln penny? The same one you probably let fall between your car seat cushions. Or the one you flicked into a fountain hoping to manifest a better love life. Turns out the real wish should have been for better coin knowledge, so today we're gonna talk about this innocent looking copper beast from 2017 with a little D mint mark and a seriously fat price tag. We'll break down why it's worth so much, what to look for, and of course I'll toss in a personal story that involves me almost losing my mind at a coin show. So grab that coffee, check your change jar, and let's dive in. So the 2017 Lincoln penny is nothing new to most people. You see it. You spend it. You forget about it. It's got our 16th president rocking his signature beard and giving you that side profile like he's posing for a Tinder profile pic. But there's something about that little D under the date that can change everything. That D stands for Denver, where this particular coin was minted. Now, they made a ton of these pennies in Denver. We're talking hundreds of millions. But what makes one of them worth more than a freaking mansion is the fact that a few were struck with incredibly rare errors and conditions. We're talking perfect mint state grades, die doubling, weird metal composition slips, even some off-center strikes that are so bizarre they look like your cousin tried making homemade coins with a hammer. Now here's where it gets real. A 2017 D penny in mint state 69 red sold at auction for over $1.1 million. That's not a typo. And yes, that's the kind of money you could buy a beachfront condo, a Tesla, and still have enough left over for all the avocado toast in California condition, baby. This coin was basically untouched since the day it was made. No scratches, no smudges, no pocket lint. Just flawless shiny copper glory. And grading plays a huge role. You ever watch one of those home renovation shows where they say location is everything? Same deal here. Grade is everything in coin world. The higher the grade, the higher the value. And mint state 69 out of 70, that's basically the George Clooney of pennies. Aging well and somehow still looking perfect. Now let's talk about errors. Some 2017 D pennies were struck with double dies, which means the design was stamped twice but slightly misaligned. It gives the coin this super trippy, almost 3D effect. If you see Lincoln's eye or lettering on Liberty looking like it had too much coffee and can't sit still, you might have a winner. Oh, and there's also off-metal errors. That's when a coin is struck on a different type of blank. Like if a penny was struck on a dime planchet. That's like wearing a suit tailored for a toddler. The coin ends up being too small or too light, and boom, collectors lose their minds. So a while back I was at this coin show in Vegas. Side note, if you ever want to feel underdressed, go to a coin show. These folks take numismatics seriously. I'm walking around booths mostly drooling over Morgan dollars, and this older gentleman pulls me aside. He says, "Hey kid, you like Lincoln pennies?" I say, "Sure, who doesn't?" He pulls out this 2017 D penny, and I swear it was glowing like it had a heavenly aura. Long story short, it was a near perfect specimen with a faint double die on Lincoln's ear, and the dude says he found it in a parking lot. A parking lot. I don't know what kind of magical asphalt that is, but I've been crawling parking lots ever since. Now the best part of this story, you could have one too. No, really. These coins are out there. They're rare, but they're not unicorns. You just need to know what to look for. If it looks perfect, I mean like it just rolled off the mint, it might be worth grading. Use a magnifying glass or one of those pocket microscopes. Seriously, it's worth the $5 on Amazon. And if it looks promising, send it in for grading with companies like PCGS or NGC. Because even a $20 grading fee is worth it if the coin is potentially worth $1 million. Oh, and don't clean your coins. Please, for the love of all things shiny, don't scrub your penny with toothpaste or throw it in vinegar or something. That's like trying to wash a Picasso with a Mr. Clean eraser. Just on to that a 2017 D penny might be your ticket to becoming a millionaire. That Lincoln wasn't just great at speeches, he's also carrying potential fortune in your pocket. That coin collectors are wild in the best way possible, and that maybe, just maybe, the change you got from buying chips at 7-Eleven deserves a second look. Now, if you found this helpful, funny, or you're now running to check your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode where we talk About coins that look totally normal but are secretly worth enough to pay off student loans. Tap the bell so you get notified when I drop more cash making coin tips. Leave a comment if you've ever found something valuable in your change, or you just want to brag about your coin collection and share this with someone who always says pennies are worthless. Let's prove them wrong together. Hey there, coin lovers, future millionaires, and curious couch treasure hunters. Welcome back to the channel where pocket change might just be your golden ticket. Now, before you toss another penny into that tip jar or use it to prop up that wobbly table leg, you might want to take a second look, because one of those little copper beauties could be worth a staggering $13 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.3 million for a single 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Today we're diving into the wild world of the 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. We're going to talk about why it's so valuable, what to look for, how to tell if you have one, and of course I'm going to share a hilarious story about the time I almost spent one at a gas station. True story, you don't want to miss it, so grab a snack, sit back, and let's get into the tiny coin that could just change your life forever. Alright, so let's start with the basics. A lot of you are probably thinking, hey, I've got some old pennies lying around in a jar somewhere. Well, you're not alone. I have a whole mountain of pennies in a drawer I call the coin retirement home. But the 1968 penny we're talking about is a little different. It's what collectors call a no mint mark penny. That means it doesn't have the little letter under the date you usually see, like D for Denver or S for San Francisco. Now, in 1968, pennies were made at multiple mints, including Denver and San Francisco, but some were made at the Philadelphia Mint. And guess what? Philly didn't put a mint mark on their pennies back then, so the 1968 no mint mark penny is technically from Philadelphia. But not all 1968 no mint mark pennies are worth a fortune, so don't go quitting your job just yet. The real treasure is in the rare high-grade versions with unique features. More on that in a minute. Part 2: what makes this penny worth $13 million? Now let's talk cash, specifically how a 1-cent coin ended up being worth $1 million. It's all about condition, rarity, and demand. Collectors are willing to pay big bucks for coins that are in near perfect shape, especially if they're hard to find. That's what happened with this particular 1968 penny. There are only a handful of these out there in pristine, uncirculated condition, and I mean pristine like this penny has never been touched by human hands, carried in a pocket, or flipped in a dramatic decision-making moment. Nope, it's fresh, flawless, and fabulous. Some of these rare pennies also have something called a double die error, where the lettering looks a bit doubled, especially on the words Liberty or In God We Trust. If you've got one with that kind of error, you're really in business. Now add that to the fact that it's from 1968 and doesn't have a mint mark, and bam, you've got yourself a collector's dream worth over $1 million. Okay, so story time. Let me tell you about the time I almost spent a rare penny at a gas station. It was a hot summer day. I was on a road trip and stopped at this sketchy gas station somewhere in the middle of cornfield country. I bought a soda and some beef jerky and handed the guy a handful of change. He looks down and goes, "Hey, this penny looks weird." 2 days later, I'm back home sorting through my coin jar and I start reading about the 1968 no mint mark penny being worth a fortune. I think, wait a minute, I swear I had one of those. I call the gas station. I ask if they still have the penny. I describe it in obsessive detail. The poor teenager on the other end says, "Dude, I don't even know how to open the register without my manager." Moral of the story: always check your change before you spend it, because your next soda might cost you $1 million. Step 1: look at the date. If it says 1968 and there's no letter under the year, you might be in business. Step 2: check the condition. The more perfect the penny, the better. We're talking no scratches, no wear, and super shiny. Step 3: use a magnifying glass or your phone camera. Zoom in on Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look like they've been stamped twice, congratulations, you might have a double die error. Step 4: weigh it. Yep, some of these pennies are heavier than others. The ones made from 95% copper weigh about 31 grams. If yours feels oddly light or super heavy, you might have a weird variation which could be valuable. Step 5: get it appraised. You can find local coin dealers or send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you've got and how much it's worth. So let's say you hit the jackpot and find one of these rare 1968 no mint mark beauties in your drawer. First off, congratulations, you're now richer than you were 5 minutes ago. Next, keep it safe. Don't clean it, don't polish it, don't glue it to your forehead and run around the neighborhood yelling, "I found $1 million penny." Just trust me on that. Put it in a soft coin flip or airtight case and start getting professional opinions. Start with a grading company, then check out auctions or online marketplaces. There are collectors out there just waiting to throw wads of cash at the right penny, and don't be afraid to negotiate. If you've got the right coin in the right condition, the sky's the limit. So there you have it, folks. The humble little 1968 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be the luckiest piece of metal in your entire house. Who knew that a coin worth 1 cent could end up being $1 million miracle? Now, before you rush off to dump out every drawer in your house, remember this: isn't just about luck, it's about knowing what to look for and being smart with your finds. If you enjoyed this deep dive into penny potential, hit that like button and smash that subscribe, because we've got tons more coming up on coins worth money strategies, collecting tips and stories from people who made it big just by paying attention to the change in their pockets. And hey, if you've ever found a weird coin or had a close call like my gas station disaster, drop it in the comments. I want to hear your stories. Hey coin lovers and treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where pocket change turns into power moves and pennies can be pure gold. Well, not literally gold, but definitely worth a fortune. Okay, real quick, have you ever had one of those moments where you find a random coin in your couch cushions or under the car seat and you think, how cool, a penny, and you just chuck it in the cup holder? Well, what if I told you that little brown disc might be worth more than your entire car? No, seriously, we're talking about a plain old Abraham Lincoln penny with no mint mark from 1995 that could fetch you up to $1.4 million. Yep, you heard that right, 1.4 mil for a coin that most people ignore. So today we're going deep into the story of the 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's so rare, how to spot it, and why someone out there might just pay you enough to quit your job and buy a taco truck or a tiny castle or like 50,000 large pizzas. I don't know you, do you? Stick around because we're gonna bust some myths, drop some facts, and I've even got a wild personal story that involves a penny, a metal detector, and a very angry goose. Yeah, that's coming up. The 1995 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, which is why there's no mint mark. You'll notice some coins have a little D or an S under the date that stands for Denver or San Francisco, but Philly was like, nah, we don't need a mark, we're fancy like that. Now most 1995 pennies are just regular old coins worth exactly 1 cent, unless you're my Uncle Dave, who insists every penny is lucky and buries them in his backyard for future generations. Yeah, we're keeping an eye on him. But then there's the superstar, the one special variation of the 1995 penny that makes collectors lose their minds and open their wallets. It's the double die obverse version. Fancy name, how? Let me break it down. Basically what happened is during the minting process, the die that stamps the front of the coin slipped just a tiny bit and stamped the design again slightly off, so you've got this super subtle doubling mostly on the words Liberty and In God We Trust. Also the date 1995 might show a little doubling too, but the key is in the lettering. So how rare is it? Well, estimates say there are about 15,000 of these floating around, which is actually a decent number, but finding one in good condition, like really crisp, sharp, almost uncirculated, that's where the real value kicks in. So what makes this one worth 1.4 million bucks? Well, that's where condition, rarity, and demand all play a part. A collector paid over $1 million for one of these in near mint condition because it was basically a unicorn, perfect doubling, minimal wear, and still had that fresh copper sparkle like it just rolled out of 1995 with frosted tips and a Backstreet Boys CD. Now let's get real for a second. I didn't believe these things were valuable either, until one random Saturday a few years ago I decided to be that guy who goes metal detecting at the park. Yeah, you know, the guy with headphones, a weird shovel, and a pouch full of bottle caps. Anyway, I'm standing near a bench and the detector goes wild. I dig and pull out a penny from the dirt. It was so filthy I almost tossed it, but something about it looked weird. Later I clean it up and notice the doubling. I Google it and bam, I'm holding a potential 5-figure coin. Now spoiler alert, mine wasn't perfect, so I didn't get $1 million, but I did flip it for enough cash to pay off my credit card, buy a better metal detector, and treat myself to one of those massage chairs that costs way too much, and now my dog uses it more than I do. But hey, that's life. Anyway, how do you check your own 1995 pennies? Easy, grab a magnifying glass or one of those little coin loops you can get for cheap and take a close look at Liberty and In God We Trust. If the letters look like they have a shadow or a double image, especially if they're sharp and defined, you might be looking at the big one. Now don't run to eBay just yet. Condition matters. If your coin looks like it got run over by a skateboard, chances are you're not getting the full jackpot. But even a moderately worn double die penny can sell for a few hundred or even a few $1,000, and that's not bad for something you pulled from a laundry machine, right? One big tip: never clean your coins. Seriously, coin collectors hate that if you polish it you might actually ruin the value even if it looks nicer. It's like restoring a vintage car with spray paint. It's not the vibe. Also, take your coin to a professional grading service if you think it's the real deal. Places like PCGS or NGC can authenticate it and give it an official grade, which is what collectors want before they whip out that sweet cash. Now some of you might be thinking, come on, it's just a penny, how can it be worth over $1 million? And honestly, I get it, I thought the same thing, but here's the deal: coin collectors are hardcore. They love unique flaws, rare variations, historical quirks, and above all, condition. When those three come together you get lightning in a bottle, and in this case lightning in a penny. The 1995 no mint mark Lincoln penny from Philadelphia could be worth up to $1.4 million if it's the rare double die version and in almost perfect shape. Look closely at the lettering on the front, especially Liberty and In God We Trust, for signs of doubling. And if you think you've got one, don't panic, don't clean it, just get it checked and graded. And for the Record that angry goose I mentioned earlier. Yeah, while I was metal detecting and digging up my treasure, this goose came out of nowhere flapping and honking like I owed it rent. Turns out I was near its nest and it did not want me there. I dropped my detector, ran like I was in a horror movie, and guess what? I left the coin behind, had to sneak back later like a stealth ninja to retrieve it. Moral of the story: always check for wildlife when searching for rare coins. Alright folks, there you have it, the wild and wonderful tale of the 1995 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that might just be hiding in your junk drawer waiting to turn your life upside down. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone who hoards loose change like a squirrel with a caffeine problem, it's worth taking a second look. You never know what treasure you're sitting on, and if you found today's video fun, helpful, or just mildly amusing, go ahead and hit that like button and smash that subscribe, because I've got tons more coin tips, stories, and discoveries coming your way. And hey, if you've ever found a valuable coin, drop your story in the comments. I want to hear about your lucky finds, even if it involves geese. Hey, welcome back my fellow treasure hunters. This is not a drill. Grab your change jars, your old piggy banks, and that random cup full of coins you've had on your dresser since 2006, because we're about to dive into something wild. Imagine this: you're standing in line at the gas station, maybe grabbing a soda and some chips. You pay in cash and the cashier hands you a handful of change. You glance down and boom, there it is, a boring old penny. Or is it? Because that ordinary looking 2006 Lincoln penny could be worth a jaw-dropping, eye-watering. Are you kidding me? 1.5 million dollars. Yeah, you heard me right, a single cent worth 1.5 million bucks. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me, because in today's video we're digging deep into what makes this coin so valuable, how to spot one, and what you should be looking for in your own collection. We're talking rare coin secret errors, minting mysteries, and how one little copper-colored circle could completely change your life. So buckle up, hit the like button, and let's go coin crazy. Alright, let's set the scene. It's 2006, the Black Eyed Peas are still on the radio, flip phones are everywhere, and Abraham Lincoln's face is still doing its thing on the front of the good old penny. Now the D mint mark means it was minted in Denver, which in itself isn't super rare. Millions of these were made, but here's where things get interesting. Only a tiny handful, yes I mean a tiny number of these coins had something very special about them. We're talking minting errors, rare variations, and weird things that happened at the Denver Mint that year. These special pennies are worth insane amounts of money to collectors, and one of them recently sold for a whopping $1.5 million. So let's break it down. What makes a 2006 Lincoln penny worth more than a Lamborghini and a house in the suburbs? Number 1, mint errors. Now I know errors don't sound like a good thing, but in the coin world they're like the holy grail. Maybe the coin was struck off-center, maybe it was double-struck, maybe it was made with the wrong metal. There's even talk about transitional planchets being used, which is a fancy way of saying the wrong kind of blank was fed into the machine. One famous error found on a few 2006 pennies is a dramatic double die. That's where the design is accidentally struck twice, and the details, especially on Lincoln's face, the lettering or the date, look kind of shadowed or doubled. Sounds like a mistake, but collectors love this kind of thing because it's rare and almost impossible to fake. Number 2, condition. Even if you have a 2006 penny with an error, if it's all scratched up or looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, don't expect $1 million. But if you've got one in mint state condition, I'm talking shiny, uncirculated, barely touched by human hands, now we're talking serious money. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC grade coins on a 70-point scale, and anything above MS65 is considered investment worthy. So a couple years back, I'm at my uncle's house. He's the classic "I've got a drawer full of junk and maybe treasure" kind of guy. We're going through his change drawer just for fun. I'm looking through coins, flipping them over, reading dates, and bam, I see a 2006 penny that just looks off. The color is different, the edge looks funny, and the date looks slightly doubled. I'm no expert, so I take it to a coin shop a few days later, and the guy behind the counter looks at me like I just handed him a Fabergé. He whips out his loupe, his gloves, his little fancy magnifying light, and starts examining it like it's the crown jewels. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million one, but it was a rare double die error worth about $3,000. Still not bad for something we found under a stack of old receipts and broken rubber bands. That experience right there got me hooked on coins, because there are treasures hiding in plain sight, and you don't need to be Indiana Jones to find them. Step 1, grab a magnifying glass, or if you're a millennial like me, just zoom in with your phone camera. Step 2, look closely at the date, especially the number 6. Does it look like it's got a shadow or a double image? Same with the word liberty or the motto "In God We Trust." Any doubling or weird spacing could be a huge clue. Step 3, flip it over, look at the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Any funky lines, odd textures, or missing details. Step 4, weigh. It sounds weird, I know, but pennies are supposed to weigh 2.5 grams. If it weighs more or less, you might have a wrong planchet situation, and that could mean big bucks. Step 5, check for die cracks or cuds. Those are bumps or weird blobs where the die broke during the minting process. Looks like a mistake, but to a collector that's pure gold. Now I'm not saying every 2006 penny is going to make you rich, but you'd be shocked how many people have found rare coins just by checking their change. Remember, the coin that sold for $1.5 million was professionally graded and had multiple rare features including a known error and pristine condition. It's not common, but it's not impossible either. And here's a fun fact: you know how sometimes you'll get coins that look like they've been through 5 world wars and a dishwasher? Those can still be worth something, especially if they've got rare errors or historical significance, so never toss a coin without checking it first. Alright coin fam, we've covered a lot today. From Lincoln's shiny little copper portrait to the minting mistakes that can turn pocket change into life-changing money. Now it's your turn. Go check those couch cushions, go dig through that coffee can in your garage, go ask your grandma if she's got a stash of old pennies from 2006. You never know what treasure might be hiding right under your nose, and if you find a 2060 penny with any of the signs we talked about, hold on to it like it's the last slice of pizza at a party, because it might just be your ticket to financial freedom. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just had a good laugh at my coin-obsessed stories, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're diving deep into coins that could make you money, rare finds, collector tips, and stories from real people just like you. Don't miss out on future episodes, because your next $1 million coin could be sitting in your pocket right now. Hey there coin lovers and curious minds, welcome back to the channel where we turn your pocket change into potential paydays. If you're new here, get ready to start eyeing your loose change like it's treasure, because today we're talking about a humble little penny that could secretly be worth $1.6 million. Yep, you heard that right, $1.6 million for a tiny copper coin that might be hiding in your couch cushions. Now let me ask you this: have you ever been so broke you start checking under the car seats for coins, maybe even dug around in the laundry pile looking for some emergency snack money? Well, I've been there. In fact, back in college I once tried to pay for a Taco Bell burrito using nothing but pennies. I counted out 89 cents at the register while the cashier just stared at me like I was performing a magic trick. True story. But imagine this: what if one of those pennies had been worth more than your entire student loan debt? That's the magic of the 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and by the end of this video you'll know exactly why this little guy is so special, how to identify it, and maybe, just maybe, how you could be the next person to cash in on a coin jackpot. So grab your jar of pennies, maybe a magnifying glass, and let's dive into this wild world of $1 million change. Alright, first let's break it down. Why is the 1985 no mint mark penny such a big deal? I mean, it's not gold, it doesn't sparkle, it's not even particularly rare looking, but there's a story behind this coin that makes it the rock star of the 80s penny scene. So here's the scoop: the US Mint in 1985 struck billions of pennies, and I mean billions with a big old B. Most of them were standard no mint mark coins minted in Philadelphia, but there's a twist: some of these no mint mark pennies were struck using leftover dies, or had unique composition errors or striking issues that make them incredibly valuable to collectors, especially when they're in mint condition, or have unique visual errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or weird planchet quirks. Now, one specific 1985 no mint mark penny surfaced at auction in nearly perfect condition, and due to its pristine quality and rarity among the rest, it sold for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. That's right, someone paid the price of a luxury home for a penny. Let that sink in. Let's talk features. You're gonna want to look for that classic Lincoln side profile on the front with that wise old look like he just read your future. On the reverse, it's the Lincoln Memorial, you know, the building where tiny Lincoln is just chilling inside like he's hiding from adult responsibilities. The thing to note here is the lack of a mint mark. Usually you'd see a small letter like D for Denver or S for San Francisco near the date, but the Philadelphia Mint didn't use a mint mark for pennies in 1985, which is normal. So you might be wondering, wait, if there's no mint mark on most of these, why is it rare? Good question. It's not just about the mint mark, it's the combination of condition, rarity, and sometimes those juicy minting errors that make the big bucks. We're talking MS67 or higher, which is mint lingo for this penny basically being in coin promite condition. No scratches nowhere, just pure coppery beauty. Now let me get real with you for a sec. Have you ever sat down with a jar of change and thought, I could sort this out? Or are you more of the I'll take it to Coinstar type? I used to be that guy until one day my buddy Dave, who's a total coin nerd, he goes, dude, you ever check your pennies? I'm like, nah man, I got real problems, I can't be worrying about zinc alloys. But he hands me this beat up looking penny and says this one's worth $250. That was the moment I started checking every coin like it was a potential lottery ticket, and the 1985 no mint mark penny became my white whale. You wanna find one? Here's what you do: grab a magnifying glass or use your phone camera, zoom in on that date, look for the cleanest surface, no scratches, minimal wear. If you see doubling around the numbers or letters, that's a possible double die, which is a collector's dream. If the coin feels a little off weight-wise, you might have a transitional planchet, which is like hitting the coin jackpot in the coin collecting casino. You can also weigh the coin. The 1985 penny should weigh around 2.5 grams. If it's heavier or lighter, it might have been struck on the wrong planchet or a leftover blank from another year. That's another huge win. And if you really want to cash and submit your best finds to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, they'll authenticate and grade it, and if you've got a gem, they'll slap it in a little plastic case and boom, your penny now has a passport. Collectors love graded coins. It's like buying sneakers with the box still fresh, no creases. By the way, fun fact, the guy who sold his 1985 no mint mark penny for $1.6 6 million bought it for next to nothing at a flea market. Talk about a glow up. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, this sounds amazing, but what are the odds I actually find one of these? Well, here's the deal, you won't know unless you look. It's like coin scratch-offs, but without the mess or the shame. Plus, even if you don't find the $1 million one, you could still find valuable ones worth $50, $100, even $500. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't walk past a free 500 bill on the street. Also, big tip, don't clean the coin. I repeat, do not clean your coin. I know it's tempting to make it shiny like your grandma's silverware, but collectors want them raw and untouched, like they just time traveled from 1985, untouched by human error and Lysol wipes. Alright folks, let's bring it all home. If there's one thing you take from this video, it's this: never underestimate the power of your pocket change. That little 1985 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might be the key to a financial glow up that'll make your wallet do a happy dance. You don't need to be a professional numismatist, you don't need a fancy magnifier or a coin vault. Just start looking. Take 5 minutes a day to check your change, and who knows, you might find a penny that pays for a house or a car, or heck, even a lifetime supply of tacos. No judgment. If you enjoyed this wild ride through the secret life of a 1985 penny and want more tips, tricks, and treasure hunting strategies to turn your couch coins into cash, make sure you hit that subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, and drop a comment if you've ever found a weird coin in your change. I love reading your stories, and hey, if you end up finding one of these $1 million babies, don't forget who sent you looking. All I ask for is a shout out and maybe a slice of pizza. Just kidding, unless you're serious. Hey my fellow coin lovers and treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel where pocket change could actually make you rich, and today I've got a real juicy one for you. You might want to check your change jar after this video, because we're talking about a 1976 no mint mark Lincoln penny that's worth not one, not two, but $1.7 million. Yep, you heard that right, 1 cent turned into a small fortune. Now I know what you're thinking: how can a coin from the same year the US turned 200 years old be worth that much? Well, stick around, because I'm gonna break it all down for you in the most entertaining way possible. Plus, I'll share a little story about the time I almost spent a rare penny on a vending machine burrito. Spoiler alert, I was very, very hungry. Alright, so let's set the scene. It's 1976, bell bottoms were in full swing, disco was groovin', and people were still calling each other jive turkeys. America was celebrating its bicentennial, and while everyone was focused on the special quarter and $50 releases, good ol' honest Abe was chilling on his copper throne like nothing special was happening. But little did we know, one very specific 1976 penny without a mint mark was hiding a little secret, $1 million secret to be exact. So what's the deal with the no mint mark penny? Here's the scoop: coins made in Philadelphia back then didn't usually have a mint mark. That's not the rare part. The rare part is the condition and a few sneaky minting errors that make this particular penny super valuable. We're talking pristine condition, like this penny never saw the inside of a pocket. A coin so fresh it still smells like the 70s. Okay, maybe not that fresh, but you get what I mean. This coin has something collectors go bananas over. It's graded MS67 and above, which in the coin world is like saying it's aged like fine wine without ever getting a scratch. And the kicker, there's a tiny handful of these floating around with either a double die obverse or off-center strikes. Combine that with flawless surfaces and BAM, you've got yourself a $1 million penny. Now let me drop a little story on you for a sec. A few years ago I was digging through an old coffee can of pennies in my grandma's garage. True story, I was broke college kid trying to find enough change to grab some lunch. I found this super shiny 1976 penny, thought it looked cool, but you know I was starving, so I fed it into a vending machine for a microwave burrito from the Stone Age. Later that week I found out about the 1976 no mint mark penny value, and I kid you not, I almost cried into my ramen noodles. Who knew that spicy bean burrito cost me a chance at being a millionaire? Moral of the story, always check your coins. Always. Let's talk numbers now. Currently, if you've got one of these beauties and it's in minty mint condition, it can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to tens of thousands. But the real jackpot, the top graded ones with the right errors, those can and have sold for up to $1.7 million. That's like winning the lottery without buying a ticket. And it gets better, the demand for Lincoln cents, especially ones with interesting backstories or errors, is still strong today. Coin collectors can't get enough of them, so if you've got one sitting in a drawer somewhere, now's the time to check it before it ends up at the bottom of a wishing fountain. Want a tip? If you think you've got one of these coins, don't clean it. Whatever you do not scrub it with a toothbrush or dish soap. You'll ruin the value faster than I ruined my chances with that burrito penny. Take it to a professional grading service, they'll give it the royal treatment and you'll know exactly what you've got on your hands. Oh, and just to make things even more fun, there are fake ones out there too, so if someone tries to sell you a 1976 penny on eBay for $10 saying it's worth $1 million, just remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, unless you're watching this channel, of course. So there you have it, folks. A simple little penny from 1976, no mint mark, just chillin' in someone's drawer, could actually be worth more than a house, a big house, and who knows, maybe you've got one waiting to be discovered before you go digging through your change. Let me hit you with this: if you enjoyed hanging out today and you want to learn how to turn your pocket change into treasure chests of cash, hit that subscribe button, give this video a big ol' thumbs Up and share it with a friend who thinks all pennies are just, well, pennies. I've got more videos coming up on coins that could make you serious money, and trust me, you don't want to miss out on this stuff. It's like the most fun financial advice you'll ever get, and you don't even need a calculator. So check your couch cushions, check your car floor, check your grandma's cookie jar. You might just find a slice of numismatic history that'll change your life. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and curious treasure hunters? If you've ever stared at your change jar and wondered if there's a small fortune hiding in there, then today's episode is definitely for you. Imagine digging through your pennies, and bam, you find a 2001 Lincoln penny, but not just any penny, a no-mint mark beauty. And guess what? It could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Yeah, you heard that right. A penny. Now, I know, you might be thinking, is this guy for real? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know all about why this particular penny is worth more than a stack of your coffee shop lattes. So, grab your magnifying glass, because we're about to dive into the fascinating world of rare pennies, and trust me, this one's going to be worth every second. Let's get started. Alright, let's break this down. The 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just any coin you find in your pocket, it's like the unicorn of the penny world. See, most coins have a mint mark to tell you where they were made, like D4 Denver or S4 San Francisco. But this little gem? Nothing. No mint mark. And that's where the magic happens. You might be wondering, why does that matter so much? Well, here's the thing. When the US Mint made the 2001 pennies, they were supposed to add a mint mark to the one struck in Philadelphia. But a tiny mistake happened in production, and some of these coins didn't get that mint mark. And guess what? That mistake turned these pennies into rare, highly sought-after treasures for collectors. It's like finding a hidden gem in a sea of ordinary rocks. Not many people know about these, but for those who do, it's like striking gold. Now, let's talk about the money side of things. While a regular 2001 penny is worth, well, 1 cent, a 2001 no-mint mark penny can fetch anywhere from a few $100 to a staggering $1.8 million in pristine condition. Why such a crazy high value, you ask? It's all about rarity and demand. The fact that these no-mint mark coins are so hard to find, and let's be honest, most people have probably thrown theirs into the wishing well of lost change, makes them highly valuable. The coin's value also goes up based on how well preserved it is. If it's in mint condition, you could be looking at a fortune. Have you ever heard of someone finding a coin worth millions in their spare change? I know, I hadn't either until I stumbled across an old coin in my grandfather's collection. There I was, digging through a box of old coins he had collected over the years, and I found a 1914 Lincoln cent. It wasn't worth millions, but it was worth way more than the face value, and that tiny discovery got me hooked on the idea that hidden treasures could be out there in plain sight. It's like looking for the best pizza in town. Sometimes it's in the last place you expect. But back to the 2001 no-mint mark penny. If you're thinking, okay, cool, but how do I know if I've got one? Here's the secret sauce. You've got to do a little detective work. First, check your pennies from 2001. Take a look at the obverse, that's the side with Lincoln's face on it, in case you're not a coin pro. Now, look under the date. If you don't see any mint mark, you've got a no-mint mark penny on your hands. But don't get too excited just yet, keep it in good condition. Coins with wear and tear, like the ones that have spent years at the bottom of your backpack or rolled around in your car, won't fetch much. But if yours is shiny and practically flawless, it could be a winner. Always store your coins properly. Don't just toss them in a jar with loose change. Put them in a protective case or coin holder. The last thing you want is to find out your lucky penny is worth big bucks, only to have it scratched up because it was bouncing around in your pocket all day. And now, I know what you're thinking, okay, this is cool, but how can I actually sell this thing if I find it? The good news is, there are plenty of ways to get your hands on that sweet, sweet profit. You can sell rare coins through auction houses, online marketplaces like eBay, or even specialized coin dealers. Just make sure you get it authenticated first. You wouldn't want to be stuck with a counterfeit or a coin that's not as valuable as you thought. So, there you have it. The 2001 no-mint mark penny, a rare find that could potentially make you rich. Who knew that a little penny could pack such a punch, right? If you've got one of these in your collection, or if you're just curious about finding rare coins, keep searching, keep learning, and keep those coins safe. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last thing. Coin collecting isn't just about making money, it's about the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of discovering something unexpected. It's like a treasure hunt that never ends, and you never know what you might find next. So, who knows? The next time you dig through that jar of pennies, you might just find a coin worth more than your entire week's worth of pizza and tacos. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more tips on how to spot valuable coins, or if you're ready to dive deeper into the world of rare finds, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more coin treasures, tips, and strategies to help you make some serious cash. Hey there, coin enthusiasts! Do you know that your pocket change might be worth more than you think? Today, we're diving into the world of the 2021 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. And no, it's not some weird misprint or lucky find. This little coin is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $1.1 million. Yes, you heard me right, $1.1 million. I know, it sounds like a bad reality TV show twist, but stick with me, because you might be holding onto a hidden treasure and not even know it. Now, before you rush to your coin jar and start sorting through every penny you've got, let's take a deep breath. This specific penny isn't just any 2021 D, there's a twist to this story. So let's break down how this penny went from pocket change to a millionaire maker and why you should keep your eyes peeled for something even more precious than a golden ticket to Willy Wonka's factory. First off, let's talk about why a regular, run-of-the-mill penny from 2021 is worth so much. You're probably thinking, it's a penny. Isn't it the same as the one I used to buy gum? Well, yes and no. The 2021 D Lincoln penny is considered a modern rarity. While millions of pennies are produced each year, only a tiny fraction of them make it into that rarefied I'm worth a fortune category. The 2021 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny has a unique feature that sets it apart from all the others. There was an extremely limited run of these coins with a certain type of die, and it caused some interesting inconsistencies in its appearance. Think of it like when you try to make a sandwich and somehow the bread slices end up uneven. Yeah, it's that kind of mix-up, but with a much more valuable outcome now. Don't just start pulling apart every 2021 D penny in your collection and start looking for the misprint you've been dreaming of. It's not that easy. These pennies are incredibly rare, and they've been valued at $1.1 million thanks to that sweet combination of scarcity and demand. It's kind of like finding a limited edition Pokemon card in your childhood binder. If you had one of those, you know what I mean, you feel like a millionaire every time you flash that card around. I remember when I was younger, I'd sift through my coin jar looking for any coin that looked different, thinking it was worth something. I once thought a coin with a weird stain on it would make me a millionaire. I was so disappointed when I tried to sell it and was told, "That's just rust, buddy." But hey, we live and learn, right? The 2021 D Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that's actually worth more than a lunch at a fast food joint. Now, if you've got a 2021 D penny and you're hoping it's the million-dollar gem, here's what you need to do. Start by getting it professionally appraised. No, your best friend who's really into coins isn't the best option for this one. Trust me, I've been there, too. But seriously, once you get a real expert's opinion, they'll tell you if your penny has the magic touch or if it's just a regular, everyday penny. The reason these pennies are so valuable isn't just their rarity, it's the whole story behind them. People get excited about the idea of finding treasure, and this penny gives them hope. It's like the lottery, but with way more history attached. The 2021 D Abraham Lincoln penny stands as a modern-day testament to how something as humble as a penny can become a collector's dream. So, if you find one, it could be your ticket to a lot more than just pocket change. And hey, even if you don't find the $1.1 million gem, don't forget that coin collecting can still be a fun and rewarding hobby. I've personally met some great people in the coin collecting community, and some of my best stories come from the weirdest finds. I still have a set of coins I've held onto from my childhood. A few are worth more than I thought. It's not always about striking gold, but more about the thrill of the hunt. It's a lot like fishing, you might not catch a giant fish every time, but every cast is a new adventure. The 2021 D-Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, worth $1.1 million and counting. Who would have thought? What's next? Maybe a 2021 penny with a secret message from the future? We can only hope, but in all seriousness, if you've got a 2021 D penny or any coins you think could be worth a pretty penny, pun totally intended, take a moment to get them appraised by a professional. You never know, you could be sitting on a fortune and not even realize it. And even if your pennies don't stack up to $1.1 million, trust me, the world of coin collecting is full of hidden gems and stories waiting to be discovered. So if you want to keep your eyes on the prize and learn more about coins that could make you a millionaire, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips, tricks, and quirky stories to share with you. Who knows? The next coin might just be the one.